Hello, everybody, and welcome. It is Sunday night, and that means that it is time for another session of our actual play here on Twitch, like Clockwork, which follows a group of individuals kind of making their way through a changing world and is parallel to the comic book Hollisworth's Clockwork Circus, which I am writing, and we're gearing up hopefully soon to do the Kickstarter for issue 2. Tonight, we are joined by a new player.
Woo!
So we'd like to welcome Elizabeth Isabetz, as she is known in our gamer circles. So really quickly, give us a hello and tell us about yourself.
Hi, I am Elizabeth. I am known on the Discords and the internets as Isabetz. I help out with Rem as an editor for a lot of these shows, and I am a cast member in Panabon's Power Ranger podcast that's coming out.
Woo!
And the Alternia Archives.
Thank
So
you.
keep tuning in every Friday to the Alternia Archives. A fresh episode drops every Friday morning at like 6 a.m., which I'm not up then, but it drops then, and you can watch it later in the day.
If you're the type of personality where one day a week of John is not enough for you.
Actually, no, because I'm on there. I'm in the podcast right now on Fridays because I'm in the Saints and Sinners, and then we take a break from me and do something else. And then I think Power Rangers happens after that. I don't actually know the schedule.
Hear that? You can have 3 days a week of John right here on Rem Alternus.
You're welcome, everyone. And might I say, you are a fabulous cast member as well, and I anticipate amazing things here. Thank you for joining us on the adventure. I'm much more not chill as Panabon, whereas Zordon is cryptic and slightly more chill. So,
Indeed. So that's me.
Well. All right. Well, so yeah, welcome. We're excited to see how that's going to go with your character and how she integrates with the rest of the group. Meanwhile, John, what's happening in Portland?
What's happening in Portland is what's happening everywhere coming up. It is almost June, which means Pride Month. And Pride Month is really important to me. As I like to say, it's not about the parade. The parade's great, but it's how about you build community, how you celebrate yourself and who you are as a person, and just being grateful for everyone. Little exercise maybe I'll do over Pride. I've just thought of this, is that if this week in the chat, if you'd like to share your favorite pop culture LGBT plus character, I'd love to kind of look at the Twitch feed later and see what characters that are LGBT plus y'all like, love, even the ones you hate. Like if your favorite LGBT character is Loki and you both like and love them because they're a villain, perfectly fine with me. I've also got 2 podcasts that are not Rem Alternus. I am doing a ton of stuff with Rem, which I absolutely love because it's a great community. Please join us on Discord. My Surf City Donuts audio drama, that's a sci-fi horror audio drama. The season 2 premiered on Thursday, so you can get in on the basement floor of that. If you join our Discord, you can see the links in there's a promotional channel. And everything is gay, even the straight stuff. My pop culture podcast with my friend Magnus. We are doing, thank you, yes, I also giggle when I say it and then I have to edit that out. We're doing Mythic May, and so we are doing a deep dive into Once Upon a Time and why it's queer and why it's not queer, and we're talking about fandom, and I'm having a lot of fun drilling over Colin O'Donoghue because we start on season 2 very shortly. And also there's some really cool stuff coming up here at Rem I'm very excited about amongst the different Kickstarters we're doing. And seriously, if you're not listening to Alternia Archive, it's really cool because tabletop gaming isn't just D&D and Shadowrun. Those are really kind of the big players, but Alternia Archives is great for Era of Silence. It's really great. The Power Ranger one is one I'm bringing up, and it's a completely different system called Essence 20. And so come to the community and be part of things, even if it's just listening to the alternate archives, because you're going to find out a lot about tabletop gaming and maybe yourself.
Sounds good. I encourage everyone to do so. Listen to John. John is wise. Unless
I'm
John,
not, but bless you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, unless John is Panabon, and then maybe not as much, but still sometimes. Yes. All right. So Alex, tell us what's going on in the middle of America.
Chicago is good. Yeah, no, nothing going on my end. That's it. I don't have anything.
That's it. All right, Sarah, bring it home.
Okay, so I leave for the US on Friday. I'm heading over for Origins. We're gonna be at Origins Game Fair in Columbus, Ohio. A lot of the REM core team are gonna be there, so you should definitely come say hi if you are around. What else is happening there? So we're gonna have a booth number 525 where we're gonna have our cool nerdy t-shirts and stuff like that. We're also going to be playing a demo game, so like 15 to 20 minute games of Gilded Age, which is Winston's new board game that's coming to Kickstarter real soon. Actually, I just got the pre-launch page is approved on Kickstarter. I got that today, so we'll be making a nice short memorizable URL for that soon. So Gilded Age, the booth. At booth 259 in the Artists Alley is going to be our Coddlesworth Clockwork Circus booth, which is going to be manned by Frank, Ava, and I'm sure when Danny's free from his gaming obligations, he'll be hanging out there a whole bunch.
I'll head over there and sink our opportunities.
Danny, let us
sink it like a basketball. Sink it like a basketball. We'll take that metaphor and we will fix it for you.
The really
I was thinking more Titanic, but you know.
So Danny's really not great about selling his own stuff, so we're gonna sell it for him. But he'll be around, so if you want your copy of Coddlesworth signed by the creator, that's a cool opportunity to do that. So really neat stuff there. And then we're also going to be at the member spotlight tables. We're going to have 3 tables there because we're Gamma members. So you can actually sign up for these events, and there are going to be full games of Gilded Age. And then I've got, I let Fragging Unicorns have the run of the other 2 tables. So we'll be playing like lots of Misspent Youth and Gangs of the Undercity as well. So a whole lot happening with REM at Origins. And that's our...
I have a question as a listener that's virtual and will not be at Origins. Is the schedule for Rem Alternus online for the games and such, is that going to be the same? Are there going to be...
We are probably going to cancel most of the games during the week because Tom and I are both going to be at... so I think Paranormal Albany will still be on for that week, but Shadowrun will be canceled. Well, it hasn't... The next season hasn't started yet anyway.
On the 21st, everyone, June 21st, season 7 of Shadowrun Chicago Missions.
I'm so glad our social media person is here that knows this stuff.
I gotta try. I will say I'm actually going to be at Origins or is it Gen Con because I have a Shadowrun mission.
Yeah,
that's going to be premiering, which is super fun and exciting.
Origins is where they premiere, so you'll be at both. Your name will be at both.
Cool beans. So
that's really cool. And we will still be doing a Gen Con TV. It's our one-shot show. So Hal will be running a one-shot of Legend of the Five Rings for a cast of people that are not going to Origins. And we're going to be doing a pre-show live at Origins. So we'll be walking around Origins, looking at the booths and stuff like that. And I'll be... I actually, it is 2022 before I finally caved and bought a selfie stick because I'm gonna need it at the convention. So I finally sold out, everyone. It's I'm one of those people now.
You know, that's not selling out. That's getting the right tools to do the things you need to do.
I'm gonna feel so awkward walking around with that though.
There is that. There is that. I'm not gonna lie.
So yeah,
I am going to be at Legends of Five Rings game, by the way, because I've
Awesome.
never done it before, and I'm very excited about it.
I'm going to be a part of that as well.
Cool. Yeah, it's
Gemini's. It's like Legends of 47 Loyal Retainers all over again.
it's a super popular game. It's actually our most popular series that's been watched on YouTube. We have like, I can't remember if it's 1,000 or 3,000 views. I don't remember. But it's like the most views that we have. Like there's demand for Legend of the Five Rings.
Also, if you missed any of the Roll with Rum alternates from Gen Con TV, they are now on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Master of Rem, which you are currently watching. And you can see them sliced up into nice hour-long chunks. So if you've missed any of that, you can catch up before Gen Con, Origins, or whichever gaming convention you're going to attend. I'm sorry, I'm talking over you a lot today.
It's fine. It's like I have a cheer squad with me. It's great. The other thing that's coming that I'm very excited about and is happening any day now is the launch of our brand new website. So remalternus.com. Go now to see, it's got stuff on it. It hasn't been updated a really long time, but it's about to be really slick. And I'm very excited for that. We're also going to be able to finally point people for our services and our streams, and it's going to be pretty neat.
Yeah, this is your opportunity to see it in its current state so that you can compare.
Is it like an Angel Fire website? Like, is there a little cursor with little energy beams coming off of it? And
I don't get that reference, but right now it's the black silk curtain that we use in the background of our stream. So it's a black with white lettering and stuff like that. It's turning more cyberpunky, so I think it's purple and pink. It looks really neat. I'm so excited, guys. It's going to be really badass. So that's my news.
Sounds good to me. My news is that we're gonna start playing this game here. So with that, let's move on and do it. It's about that time.
Oh,
I tried to make all the hand signals and everything. I was like, "Wow, but
I missed it. Sorry, I was watching the Streamlabs. But covering for Danny while we watch him chew. He was like, "I have a solid minute," and meanwhile the intros are 30 seconds. So oops.
I don't know about anyone else, but I'm very excited to get on this train where I'm sure nothing bad will befall us.
Nothing at all. But guys, you should go back and watch the interlude though. Real tears happened. Real tears.
Oh, yeah, somebody cried.
Yeah.
All right.
I just want to go home. I'm so tired.
All right. So the next day dawns and everyone is up relatively early in order to make sure the last of their stuff is packed and they're able to make it out to the gondola that will take you down to the train depot.
It doesn't take you up to the train depot?
It does not take you up to the train depot. It takes you down. So, everybody is up. As everyone has noticed by now, Sin is not here tonight. They are moving in the midst of a move and getting everything settled, so they're not here tonight or next week as well. But Alex Lex Volkov is with the group, and assisting in getting their stuff together. He doesn't have too much of his own gear, being more of an ascetic sort of individual, but definitely they're helping gather everything for the others. And Nguyen, of course, has already left, heading out back into the desert. And as far as you know, both TSK and Naka are doing their own things and heading out to their respective follow-on adventures as well. And so there's not really a whole lot here at the lodge other than to just make sure somebody knows that you've left. Perhaps.
I'll talk to my orky friends now. I really like them, and I'm gonna miss them a ton.
Indeed. And you do find Docha, the young orc who had been goaded into a brief sand pit match with Aegis. And he does ensure you that you will be a presence that will be missed to the lot of you, that things were really exciting with you around, and that was something that many of them appreciated, even if it was a little strange sometimes. But
you can say my name. It's okay. I understand.
You know, and for the orcs here, the strangeness was less about Panabon and more about other events.
I knew I should have conjured water demons so they'd remember me. Because that's my power. I can conjure water demons.
Maybe we can come visit again someday for better reasons.
Yeah. Sometime when you're not on the run. And so with that, you gather your gear and head out from the lodge. As you turn down one of the streets and it leaves your sight, there's for some of you a sense of melancholy of having sort of settled in one spot comfortably for a week or so without, about 2 weeks actually at this point, and the last week being a lot easier on the nerves, a lot less stressful. The time after the incident down in along the waterline of Gilaludi, and now has been relatively restful.
You guys
Hey, Perunia.
Yeah?
I heard a rumor that the gondola's broken and we're going to have to take camels all the way to the train depot. How do you feel about that? I know how much you love camels.
I hate you.
You have to get into the thing again. Do you remember that we were in Marikadasha?
Yeah. I would rather forget that, Panabon. But yes, thank you. I do remember failing to mount my camel 20 times in a row. Yes, I do. It might be scarred in my memory. I think they call that a trauma.
Is that what that is?
I don't know.
Oh, I thought that was a nickname. Huh.
You guys realize that we're leaving probably the safest city for any of us to be?
No city is safe for you. God, that's funny.
I mean, you could have joined the repelling club that I started with Lex. Repelling,
I don't know that would have helped Shaylin feel safer, but sure.
I mean, there's adrenaline. That's like a real thing.
Perunia just punched Shayloon right in the feelings.
Perunia's the realist.
That hurt. That hurt real bad.
If I was feeling good a second ago, I am now terrified again.
As we're walking away to, if we go by somewhere that has a roasted lizard on a stick, I'm going to get my last roasted lizard on a stick for our exit.
All right. Easily done. You don't even have to stop the group as you are able to run ahead to a street food vendor purchase said stick lizard and then catch up. And eventually make it to the air docks where most of the airships take off. And there is for the train station, the sort of mini depot area where you purchase the tickets and all. There is a gondola there set up that basically a cable car for all intents and purposes. So Gialuludi is a coastal city on the western coast of Baishan. And it is, of course, spread throughout this river delta. And the edges of the city on the coast are cliffs overlooking the sea. But then it does decline sharply as you go north. And so from up on the air docks, the gondola actually cuts down across a little bit of a, would it be an isthmus? Is that land? Is an isthmus land or is that water?
It's been a lot of years since geography class.
An isthmus is a narrow strip of land with sea on either side, forming a link between two large areas of land. Its plural is isthmi. So the must becomes a my if it's plural.
You looked that up real fast, bud.
I know. I only spelled it incorrectly a little bit, which is an important thing to know. There's no Y in isthmus, which it sounds like we could have a Y in it.
Okay. Well, this is the opposite of that. This is water that has kind of come in. And so the gondola actually crosses over the water down to the other side. And there, more at sea level is a small community, a suburb of Gialuludi, if you will, where the train actually pulls in and starts. And so you all hop into the gondola after showing the tickets to the operator there. He does not take them. Those are for the train. But
I just look at Perunia and go, Rogelio, really?
Sorry.
You should be much better at this than that.
But look, they're middle class, and he took the extra money and he knew what to do with it, even though I didn't tell him. That's good, right?
Yes, that is good, because, yeah.
He was a very honest orc, because I definitely didn't tell him what the extra money was for, so there you go.
Is he? Yeah, orcs are
They all were. Like, that's almost redundant. I agree with you. Those guys are great.
I've never had an orc that wasn't. That would be like if I was an orc, which nobody wants. Nobody wants me as an orc.
I missed your analogy there, but sure.
I want Panabon as an orc.
Here's my half brother, the orc Panabon.
The amount of damage that could be done.
Oh my.
Stepping into the gondola, it is a fairly lengthy journey down, about 15 minutes. And you start at this height, and as you pull out and away from the cliffside, dangling over the water, you're able to see the whole edge of Gialuludi, the coastal facing side. And it's like cliff sides that have a variety of platforms and levels and airships that are docked in certain locations, and then down all the way to the sea level where there are ships and boats and fishing. All of the seabirds here. It's really a beautiful sight to see the city from this side of it. And then looking out the other side, you can actually see out into the sea itself. The ocean that out to the west eventually will lead to east of Panur.
Pirates. Want to meet orc.
And actually, you can, to the southwest, where the Dire Sea and the Pirate Islands are. And then further on, where there is, of course, Elam, the newly revealed continent. Oh, one moment. But yeah, but just, you know, looking out over the Canistria Ocean and just imagining all of the things that are beyond. Eventually, you do get down to the bottom and disembark from the gondola. And there's a lot of activity down here. The train station is itself not really large. It's a relatively new structure here. There are a lot of additions that are being made. There are a lot of smaller buildings that are around that are still being constructed. The main train station itself is a open air sort of pavilion that allows folks to sit underneath the roof that protects you from the sun, but be able to kind of see out in all directions.
So Miracle Dashta has an open air graveyard, and this one has an open air pavilion.
Yeah, I think the latter is not that strange of a site.
Just trying to keep track of the open air options that we have from city to city.
Well, also, too, an open air pavilion is an opportunity for an open air graveyard at some point. I mean, obviously, when the commerce isn't running anymore.
You have no faith in Shayloon.
And there are plenty of people awaiting the train, and this, for the first time, you actually see throughout Gilaludi. Of course, there are people from the other empires that are in the city, but it's rare to kind of see them out and about. If you had not been so trepidatious and kind of concerned about how the dinner would go at Bone and Spice, you would have noticed there were a larger percentage of foreigners there. But here, it's maybe a third of the people are foreigners. This is one of the main places now that folks are either entering into Gilaludi or heading back north after finishing whatever visits they have. And so there are a lot of people here that are Melvedian. You're fairly certain you see some Palikar folks. The ways that their hair is set with a variety of cloths and strips of leather and the like that are meant to mimic the frills and horns of the Dragonborn. That is a popular way for the people of Palakun to express themselves and dress. And of course, there's a lot of Ashani folk here as well, heading out to travel and do business or see the sights up north in Ireland. The train itself is several cars in length. The front of the train is this massive engine, and it is actually, you can hear the workings of that engine kind of humming on a standby mode as the parts are going but disengaged from the wheels. Smoke is rising out of several exhaust ports on the front. Several of the train cars are multi-level. Most of them have large windows on the side, enabling those within to see outside. And there are several cargo trains near the back, where a lot of additional luggage is being loaded, a lot of crates and boxes. And that is where you see Nugatsa Senato with his various entourage overseeing the loading of several crates into one of the cars near the back.
I due to a variety of feelings last night, I stayed up most of the night and finished working on a spell that I've been thinking about with all of our friends dispersing.
Mhm.
And so I'm gonna kind of like squint my eyes and do a little like under the nose, but I'm pointing at him, and cast mind link, and which is message, and say, whisper, all good on your end, respond in a whisper. All good on your end, respond with whisper.
You all see Nugatsu sort of perk up at that and look around, and he does eventually turn in your direction and catches your eye. Yes, we've got everything practically loaded on. I don't foresee any troubles. No.
I wave because I assume Nagato is looking at me.
It's a reasonable assumption. Yeah, so they kind of nod, and now you've established that you have arrived there. Looking throughout just kind of the general area, there are several vendors who are selling a variety, mostly Ashani like fruits, drinks, sort of last minute things for folks to purchase before they hop on the train. There is still available lizard on a stick, so that wasn't apparently your last chance to get it up in the city proper.
Does the train have like a snack car, or like an observation deck like we have on American Amtrak?
So Panabon, you move out to find some literature on the train and what amenities will be provided, and perhaps even what your tickets get you in terms of.
I'm also going to be looking for a Gialaludi postcard so I can give it to Shayloon so that she has like something to send her parents, because I know that matters a great deal to her. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's
I'm even going to pay for it because apparently I'm a good person now. It's very annoying.
yeah, and that's not at all too difficult as you are moving around looking for these things. You do find a kiosk that has a lot of information about the train, about the line, how long it is, how long it took to build to reach Gilaludi from Ineland, where it passes, some of the places that it passes through on the way up to the north, and that its ultimate destination on this particular line is in Maelved, which is the sort of central country within Ireland. It is the country that all of the various representatives from the other countries in Ireland, that's where they all eventually meet up to discuss matters that are important to Ireland, is in the nation of Maelved. And the capital is where this train is actually headed, which is Castanede.
And is that where the train from Palacune to Einenland would be Castanede? Like that's where you get like the link between the two?
That line does travel through Castanede. So you are able to get onto that line from Castanede as well. And that line actually goes further west through Ireland as well as east to Palacune.
Great, so that's where Old Fleming is going to try to capture us, I'm sure.
The idea, of course, is that you'll either take the line west from Castanede to Dissarin, or get off someplace earlier and make your way to Dissarin via another means. Decisions yet to be made.
Do they have camels up that far?
You don't think so?
Sad. I know how much Perunia loves camels, and I want to make sure to give Perunia as many camel riding opportunities as are humanly possible.
That's absolutely what Perunia wants.
I'm a good friend.
You are a good friend.
I'm also going to get in here real quick.
You also, as you are up kind of closer to the front, where there is a sort of there is a delineation actually in class, and when I say class, I mean like in the people that are waiting to board the train, and I mean in terms of wealth. The front of the train is suited more for, or not the front, but like the front half of the train is suited more for your sort of economy class travelers or business class travelers, maybe. And it's closer to the rear of the train where the more expensive cars and the sort of higher class passengers board. And so there eventually it comes sort of a split in the crowd that is outside of the train, as they are sort of naturally lining up around about where they think they're going to be boarding the train. And of course, you're heading more towards that a business class side. And as you are, you do notice that there is a small crowd gathered around the sound of music being played. Not a lot of music. It doesn't seem like an ensemble of any sort. But there is some singing, and you catch sight of a single performer just sort of playing for the crowd here, and in such a way that like the folks who are in the higher class areas can kind of hear and listen and pay attention, but knowing that the working class and the economic, those who are on the economic side of the train will be able to form that sort of core audience, is a young human woman. And let's go ahead, Elizabeth, and describe to us sort of that scene.
All right. So you see, she's not very tall for a human. She's maybe 5'2". Although if you directly ask her, she will lie and tell you she's about 5'3" with her heels on. So don't think she's too short. She has really, really long, wavy black hair, and she's wearing a brightly colored dress and brightly colored tights. She's playing her lute, and she has been, just for the fun of it, while she's waiting for the train, taking requests from the crowd. And as she takes the requests, she, is this a love ballad? Who is this for? And she just kind of makes up little sonnets for these people as she plays her lute and sings it to them.
Yeah, so there is that going on, and as you are walking past and kind of looking over, I will say there is a moment when you kind of catch each other's gaze.
I give you a wink and a thumbs up. It looks much better in my gnome form with I have like dandelion yellow skin and my eyebrows are jeweled, so it's a very fun look.
She catches your eye, and as she's playing, she just kind of nods and gives you a wink back.
Oh, that's fabulous.
I
do you have?
I avoid eye contact because this is a lot of people, and I don't want to be noticed.
Does your character have a hat out or anything like that for coins or anything of that nature?
No, she's just having fun while she's waiting for the train.
I will give you that note later.
Perunia takes the opportunity while everyone's focused on the human singer to take a look at the rest of the crowd, because I am still not convinced that we thoroughly convinced everyone that we were indeed taking an airship. So I'm going to go ahead and perceive what I can for the rest of the crowd.
Okay. Give me a perception test.
Yes. Coming right up. Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
On my game this morning.
So there are a lot of people here. That is true. It is a little bit overwhelming. This is about as crowded as you've been in any particular place since perhaps the markets in Marikodashta, which are always rather busy. There's also this sense of restlessness as everyone is waiting to board the train. In fact, you're not even really sure why people aren't just able to get on yet, like why they're not letting folks board just yet. You're sure there must be some reason that makes sense, but it's not readily apparent to you. But yeah, they're all restless. That restlessness that people have, when you're at the airport. For those of you who fly, and they're just about to start the plane boarding process, and they're the folks who are going to board in like the 4th or 5th tier of boarding. And they've got to wait for like all the people in front, but they're still like getting up and like kind of moving over and preparing to board. The train, to your understanding, has been in town for a few days. And so definitely a lot of these folks have been ready for their trip. And that sort of press of people, that sort of general sense of unrest that is going on makes it difficult to catch individuals, a lot of who is there. But you will say that it does make it a little bit easier to see who maybe isn't focused on that and maybe focused on someone else or something else. And you do note that there are a few individuals who appear to be less concerned about the train itself and boarding the train and more concerned with just looking around at the people that are gathered and present. Not necessarily off to one side, and not necessarily all grouped together, but there are a few of those folks who seem distracted from the boarding process of the train and more inclined to be scoping out everybody that is in the vicinity.
All right, Prunia would take note of those folks. And since those people are doing the same thing as Prunia, hopefully they're not noticing that Prunia is also noticing them, noticing the rest of the crowd, and would probably make remarks to Lex in private if we were able to duck behind somewhere of just what Prunia is seeing, because I'm sure Lex is probably also doing the same thing on his end.
That is undoubtedly true.
I lean over to Shayloon, assuming that Shayloon is next to me in some close vicinity, and I ask, hey, do you think that musician knows the Lonely Goat Herd song? Oh wait, do you know the Lonely Goat Herd song?
I think right now, Panabon, that the less people we talk to, the better, since we're not supposed to even be here. But, and I turn to see Perunia and Alexei talking. Do me a favor, and on this trip, keep a close eye on Lex. I still don't fully trust him.
I mean, to be fair, you probably shouldn't fully trust anybody. But yeah, definitely. Although I do like the mohawk look. I have to say, the gold mohawk, I'm cool beans about, Aesthetically, it's very pleasant.
If he wanders off, just follow him. Keep an eye on him.
Yeah, if he wanders off in the direction of a club car where I can also get a club sandwich, then I feel really good about that.
I sigh and nod and look away, knowing that that's as much of a commitment from Panabon as I'm gonna get.
Oh, I also got these informational pamphlets. I don't know if you know all the stops on the train, but this might be something to know about where we're going to stop and how long this might take.
Good idea, because we don't know where we want to get off to continue on to Desarin.
Yeah. And that's all your home turf. Oh! I had an idea last night in my sleep. I'm going to share it when we get closer, but I have an idea, and I don't want you to think I'm like wandering off to do something nefarious. So I will share that idea with you.
Did John freeze for anyone else?
Yes.
John froze for just a moment.
There he is.
It's actually not a nefarious idea, but the internet thought it was nefarious, so the internet.
The internet knows better.
The internet knows better, but it's actually, I think it's a really good idea, and so does Panabon. So I will tell you about it as we get closer to Desarin. I'm sure you'll enjoy it.
I sure hope so.
All right. Is there anything else any of you are doing or trying to accomplish before the train boards? Which you do have the time now that the train boards, and it's going to board in a few short minutes, but perhaps before then.
I'm more interested in getting on the train and finding out where we're, like, do we have a sleeper car? Do we, like, where can we get some privacy? I don't know how trains like this work, so.
I kind of want to perceive to see if there are any Inquisition people getting on the train with us.
Sure, make a perception test.
Because that concerns me more than, my perception is, why can't it be anything but perception? But here we go. Oh, not too bad.
Not too bad. There are only a few Dragonborn even. Your group makes up the bulk of Dragonborn getting on the train.
That's because we're the cool group.
Yeah.
The
and so yeah, there's not a whole lot of Dragonborn at all. And the ones you do notice do not look like Dark Claws. They don't appear to be Inquisition Dragonborn. So there's that. For Shayloon, your tickets have car numbers and an additional number that you imagine is either like a seat number or something. And you do have now, Panabon has given you pamphlets for the train.
Is that a hint that I should go to the inventory sheet?
No, it's just you can look into it.
Okay.
There's no picture of this in your inventory sheet. I'm just saying, like you can look in the pamphlet to see like if you're in a room or if you're in seats or what's the deal.
I'll rifle through.
My hope is that the middle class gives us like a private room car, but I have no idea about that. So you can always upgrade if need be.
Right. So what you do have, as you look, is you're in a pair of small rooms, perhaps. Maybe they're like small rooms that are meant for 2 passengers each. And so there is one for Shayloon and Perunia, and there is one for Panabon and Lex. And these are sort of kind of in the middle of the train. So this is like the highest end of the business or economic class. And then and you're actually looking at your car, and it looks like the second half of your particular car is what begins the sort of higher rates for rooms. Like there's actual bedrooms, larger sort of rooms on the train. In the rooms that you're in, there's seating that is convertible to a very small bed for both of you. Plenty of space for Shayloon. Probably a little bit tight. Going to result in like having to sleep with bent knees, for Perunia and even Lex. but they are private rooms, if small.
I gesture over to Lex and I go, want to switch?
That's so mean. What's with you today?
Lex is sure that no one's gonna police the actual arrangements. So if switching needs to happen, I'm sure that Lex is not too particular about who they're bunked up with. But yeah, so that's most of what's going on.
Where's Nagatsu getting on the train? Is he like in the fancy high first class in the Snowpiercer baby eating room or whatever it is?
He absolutely in the Snowpiercer baby eating room. Yes.
I make a note of whatever door he enters the train on.
Yes, they are pretty far into the back of the train, and it is Nugatsa. It is the woman Callus, the other gnome Braun, and two. You're fairly certain that they are guards, some sort of hired muscle that is traveling with them, that are with the group, and there are going to be several cars behind you. You're pretty sure.
Do any of his? I don't know how close they are to me at all, but is any of his entourage like look sketchy? Like, is there anyone where I'm like worried about them being like a covert operative, real plummy, or something like that?
Make an insight test.
It's all wisdom. Come on, wisdom.
Come on, big wisdom.
Big money. No, whammy, womp womp. Well, not whammy, but you know.
You don't get bad vibes off of any of them. You do get like the two guards are very they have like this unapproachable sort of presence to them. Like they're just very stern and very, you know, they're looking out over the crowd in much the same way that Pedunia was, and just trying to gauge what's going on throughout the crowd. But nothing that jumps out at you as being particularly nefarious. Let's get from Shayloon a perception test. All right. So as you are preparing to board the train, there is a whistle that sounds, and this sort of wave of commotion just kind of spreads across the crowd and ripples out as people who are sitting down get up, they shoulder their bags. Folks who were waiting a little more patiently are now looking to move towards the front. There's a little bit of a press at the front of the area closer to the train. As one, all the doors on the train open up, and out of each door steps an individual smartly dressed in a uniform, in a simple blue cap, a blue uniform. And a announcement comes out over several like megaphones that are kind of interspersed throughout the location. All boarding for the De the Daymil Einolunda Mall. Please have your tickets ready. Note on your ticket what train car you're boarding and board that train car. We welcome you aboard. And with that, if that message was supposed to produce any sort of order, it fails as there's chaos, as everyone is now trying to board the train. The chaos near the front is far worse than the chaos in the back, but even in the back, there is a lot of confusion and people trying to get up, and more than a few folks just busting out their best Karen.
I produced my veil, so it looks like there's another one of me. Just give Shaylun space so nobody tramples Shaylun.
That I was about to grab onto Panabon so that we don't get separated or hopefully trampled.
If you grab onto my veil, it'll be hilarious because you'll grab onto nothing.
Ah, hey!
I was trying to be helpful.
All right, and so with that, everyone is trying to get on board the train. We're going to take a quick 10 minutes, and when we get back, we will be aboard and see what happens next. Welcome back. Boarding the train does take some amount of time to get everybody that is out there on board and situated. Your group does make it on fairly quickly, and you find yourselves kind of near the well, you're in train car, what amounts to E. And if you figure that the first car that has to do with passengers is A, before that is a fuel car and then the engine. So you're probably like the seventh car in line of all the cars. And you are on the engine side, front of the car. There are 10 mini rooms, if you will, little small rooms that are for 2 people, and they are numbered. The odd numbers are as you're facing down the train. The odd numbers are on the right, even numbers on the left, and they start down at the bottom. So as you come in, your rooms of 9 and 10 are the ones closest to the front of the car. Yes, John.
Does Panabon notice any extra personnel or guards between the cars? Like, do they have like people keeping the cars? Like, you're in that car, you're not supposed to go anywhere, but like maybe to the dining car if you end up doing that. Like, is there like
absolutely not. They're not that you see. There are a variety of conductors. There's some service personnel. There is not somebody yelling at folks from moving around. There that you can tell, and there don't seem to be any signs or anything that say like you can't walk through the cars. So there doesn't seem to be anything like that. So yeah, and you're not seeing much of the cars so far because as you're boarding, this message sort of just plays throughout speakers within the train that
it's not away.
That urge everybody to find their seat, place their bags away quickly, and then take their seats and remain seated until the conductors have come and taken your tickets and the train has embarked. Once the train is embarked, then folks are welcome to move about reasonably throughout the train. So if anyone needs to go to a bathroom or to the kitchen car, or there's you hear the word lounge mentioned as well. so folks can kind of move about the space as they need to.
I'm actually gonna look at Shaylun as I'm putting the stuff away and go, does Nipaway sound like super tired to you?
You think that's what Nipaway sounds like?
I mean, I don't know. I haven't actually heard Nipaway. That could be Nipaway's voice. Maybe Nipaway likes trains.
Yeah,
That's neat.
I think this is more the science than magic aspect of communication.
You're no fun.
I
Or
think
maybe you're a lot of fun.
I think I'm fun.
Nipaway and
Shay's
Athena
like, why is
goddess.
everyone mean today? Everyone's edgy when they travel.
It's true. I just like how the idea of Nipaway and Athena like goddess apparently moonlights as a voiceover person for trains and other services. That
Look, everybody's got to make their money in the world we've got living in.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, your Garmin is that's Nipaway.
Nipaway wakes up after millennia and goes, "Ah, shit, capitalism. Gotta get to work."
We can't escape capitalism even in steampunk D&D.
So, yeah, and so you managed to sort of put you're putting your stuff away, and making sure that everybody is set. The rooms, like I said, they're small. It's very much a bench that kind of serves. It doubles as a bed. There is the back of the bench kind of comes down to provide like an additional bit of cushioning for your mattress. There's a place up top for you to put bags, and it could seat 4 if it weren't for the fact that they made beds out of the benches, and so you're all sort of fitting inside of there. As you are putting away your various things, and about 45 minutes from when they started boarding the train, you hear somebody outside in the hallway kind of call out, "Tickets ready, please."
I take out my Lampira tickets.
Okie doke.
Mutter under my breath, Rogelio. Okay.
Hey, at least they don't have licenses here that they have to check against.
After a few moments, there is a knock at your door, Shaylin and Perunia.
Who is there? Since obviously, if we're gonna switch, it wouldn't be till much later.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, so there's a knocking at your door.
Who is it?
Tickets?
I crack the door and show them.
They take them from you. They look them over. They look at you. They try to look in the room.
Brunia just death stares them. Just
I mean, like, I'm imagining you like have the door barely cracked.
yes, like there's a crack, and then like I'm above her on the crack. So she's here on the crack.
Yeah.
I'm like right up there on the crack.
He looks you in the eye, and then he just kind of looks down at the ticket, and then he says, "We are going to have to ask you to open the door."
Brunia, exaggerating a huge sigh, like "How dare you inconvenience us?" opens the door.
Okay. You open the door all the way, and he just kind of peers in and nods, "Thank you," and then he clips both your tickets, hands them back. you hear someone just maybe a couple doors down knocking on a door. Tickets, as a second individual is also apparently taking tickets here. And then he turns to knock on the door across from y'all's, which is, of course, Panabon and Lex. So, Panabon, you hear that knock.
Panabon is not going to waste this opportunity. There is a really well-known Caliphan play called Three's Company about three people that live in the same house. And so Panabon is going to respond with, come and knock on our door. And they're going to like open the door with a flourish. I don't know how Lex feels about that, but basically it's going to, as I'm handing the tickets over, it's going to be the score to the Three's Company.
Perfect, because in number 8, as the conductor knocks on that door, Drew, you open the door to respond. And as you're doing so, you hear this melodic welcome to the conductor in number 9.
By the way, there's a reason I do mask busking. It's because Panabon can barely carry tune in a rescue bucket. So just to let you know, I do mask busting and not singing for a very particular reason.
It is, but it is still melodic. Just, not
the wrong key.
A traditional key that people are used to.
Now, am I next to him or am I across the hall?
Across and next. So next, you are next to Perunia and Shaylun, and they are across the hall from Panabon. And
okay.
Yeah, so they're in 10, you're in 8, Panabon's in 9. Who knows who's in 7?
Do I have a roommate in my room with me, or am I by myself?
Not yet. You do not. You were told to that you were told at the time that you purchased your ticket that no one else had taken the other one, but that they expected that probably someone would. But it was also possible. That no one would. So, yeah. Let's see here. But yeah, so you do note, and Panabon, you also see that the individual who is out singing the songs out front apparently has.
They can afford middle class. Interesting.
Cross.
I make note of that to myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I open the door for the ticket to show him, and as I open the door, I just kind of wave at Panabon.
I give you one of these. I give you like a
curtsy.
Of course they do.
I take it back. We don't need any more cast members. I just if it's gonna turn into back and forth pandering between Panabon and Drew.
and everybody, yes.
Don't encourage them.
I'm just imagining Lex, like what's going on, what's happening. I don't know how Lex would respond. But I hope Lex either joins in or is like, what's happening, and is very confused. One of them. Lex
is a little confused, and as the door closes, Lex likely asks you, do you know that person? Like that sort of line of questioning. To which Panabon, I'm sure, has some sort of answer that is absolutely vague and does not actually answer the question for Lex.
That sounds like Panabon.
That's definitely what is going on. And yeah, after several moments, you hear the train whistle. You hear a couple of announcements, last call, all aboard, and then an announcement to please take your seats as the train will begin moving. And then, sure enough, just like promised, the train starts to go and starts heading down the track, or up the track, I guess. It's going north because we're north-centric people. And off the train heads just around noon.
So
As-
I think I'll wait for you to be finished, Danny.
Well, I was just going to go over like as the day kind of passes. So if you got something you want to do.
Yes. So I would turn to Shaylin and say, Shaylin, I'm not trying to not be your buddy here. I just think that Lex is probably incapable and not quite understanding about how somebody needs to keep an eye on Panabon. So I figured it would be better if I was in a room with Panabon than Lex, who, well, frankly, won't know how to keep an eye on them.
That's fair. Well, thanks for taking that responsibility on.
And I know you could sleep in the room with them, but honestly, 2 Dragonborn just won't fit in one room. So otherwise, I would have bunked with Lex, but that was just the case. But like, no, I just think that would probably be better for all that's involved. Also, I think you should know today is Panabon's birthday. I got him a gift. Like she looks around even though nobody's in the room with them, and it's wrapped in a brown paper package. So I'm gonna give it to them from all 3 of us because I know that you guys probably didn't know because they just told me last night, and so I want to surprise them, and maybe we should think about a fancy cake or something for dinner if they have anything in the car room.
Yeah, even if they don't, I can make it taste really good. With magic.
Okay. Good idea.
Thanks, Perunia. I didn't know. I have some shiny rocks. You think they'd like shiny rocks?
They would definitely like shiny rocks, and it kind of goes what I got them, which they'll see. Here, and can shove them in the package, the wrapping.
Yeah, I'll take let me see which stones I have here. Inventory. Let's see. Purple. I have some coral, it looks like. I have some jade, some green.
You could give Panabon some of the stones from the thing in the scholar's house.
Yeah,
that's messed up.
That's I think the stones that I'm looking at.
Oh well, I mean whatever. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? They might have a lot of fun with this, and I'm gonna take out the oh. All right, so Perunia, I have 2 options. Do you think they'd like a potion of climbing better?
Ooh.
You could like spider climb up walls and stuff like that, or do you think they'd like the Oh, nope, I've consumed that, sorry.
I would just say spider climb because they were already talking about their repelling thing, and I feel like spider climb and repelling just like would be the same kind of thing. I think they would like that.
All right, here.
Okay. Put it in the brown paper parcel.
As you wrap it up, my smile kind of fades, and I go, I really hope I don't regret that.
Time will tell, but Panabon's made it all the way this far with us, right? So
yeah. I think they'll like it. Thanks.
And so I would probably wait till we were all together to give them the gift. Or I would ask Shaylin, should we go over there now while we still have some privacy? Or do you think they would want to do it like in the dining car, except then we might attract a lot of attention? I don't know. When do we want to give it to them?
Let's do it tonight, and we can flip the beds up and make a nice little sitting space, and as soon as the train's moving, we can go to the dining car and see what they have for desserts and treats, or lizards on sticks. I know they really are gonna miss those.
Good idea.
Is it weird for you that people eat lizards on sticks?
It is kind of weird. Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie about it.
Yeah.
It's the scales for me. It's the scales. Like, if it didn't have scales, it wouldn't bother me so much. But, I mean, you probably feel the same way about people eating pigs because your skin is soft like pigs and you're both mammals. I don't know.
Huh. Shayloon does not know what to do with that, so
If you are at all offended by that, perhaps this is a lesson. Good. That was brilliant. I like that one.
Our next commercial, ladies and gentlemen.
Perunia gets inspiration from the DM. I'll add that to your bennies now.
Oh my god.
Oh, God.
All right,
was great.
so that's I'm the DM. Okay, there we go. That was great. All right, yeah. So the train gets underway. There are some announcements after about 15 minutes in that the lounges are open, that the kitchens will be ready to serve meals in about another 15 minutes. And then, of course, once that time passes, folks are able to move about freely as they like. There is nothing, Panabon, as you're looking through the various things, the train pamphlets and stuff, that indicates you can't go into the higher class portion of the train and go to that kitchen. It's just that everything in that side of the train is going to be more expensive.
Yes.
Reflecting the quality of what they've got going on. So,
although that also means higher marks for games of chance with cards and people that might like art. So,
that does seem possible.
But it's a good idea.
Possible.
But Shayloon's not going to like it at all. I'll have to hedge my bets on that.
Yeah. So,
by the way,
go ahead.
By the way, if Perunia comes in to change places with Lex, I'm actually working on a mask that looks that has kind of a fire dragon effect to it, because I can't get like the image out of my head. It has a really cool, ferocious Perunia-like quality. Because behind that kind of purple, gold, orange is a really great, or behind the orange of the flame is like a really great purple scale effect.
So with that, Shayloon, can I get you once again to make a perception check?
Because apparently last time, all a 12 got me was noticing that the whistle blew and they started loading. Let's see. Oop. Skills. Yay!
As you were going through your satchel for looking for a stone or something else, there are two other items that are in your satchel that like kind of give you pause, like, wait a minute. One of them is an orb. It's like a little small crystalline orb. And then the other one is, it looks like a small metal, almost looks like a metal flask for like drinking whiskey. And then after a moment, you like remember that the orb is actually something that that Nugatsa gave to you, but you don't recall the flask item. You're not remembering that one, like where that came from.
Yeah, that's weird. I open it and smell it.
So it's shaped like a flask. It is not a flask.
Oh.
And it doesn't open in the way that you expect. As you like try to find a way to open it. So you pulled it out of your bag now and are fiddling with it.
Yeah.
So Perennia, you see Shailene has a small object of some sort that she's fiddling with a somewhat confused expression on her face.
I will roll perception on it because Alex might not recognize it, but Perunia might.
It is nothing Perunia has seen before that you can recall.
What's that?
Make an Arcana check, Shailene, as you're telling Perunia how you don't know.
Yeah. I was just thinking about casting me some Identify though.
You might be able to do that because as you are trying to open it up, it doesn't. There's no. You're not able to figure that. The Arcana check was to see if you could figure out how to puzzle out how to open it. And
actually, I would like to use one of my inspiration bennies. I think I got some last week.
You should have some. It looks like you have one from Teslin.
Yay! Thanks, Teslin.
Yep.
I'm gonna re-roll that Arcana with my +7, and hopefully I get better than a 2.
Yep.
Yay!
10 better than a 2.
I was holding it upside down.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, you actually find a little place where it's almost seamless, but there's a button that you can kind of depress, and it clicks open and it opens over top. And this is odd. It is not magical, you don't think? It looks like some sort of maybe a measurement device, something that takes a measurement or something. It's got it doesn't, as far as you can tell, have any controls on it. There's no dials, there's no buttons. There is a small glass plate window that has a dial in it that has a readout, and it's got a red area on the left and then green on the right, and then the arrow is just kind of hovering at about 2/3 of the way up.
So toward the green?
Yeah, it's well in the green, and it is wavering just ever so slightly, which lends you to believe that it's not broken or something, that it's actually on, and it's a working device.
And I can't tell what it's reading?
No, you have, like I said, you don't even really recognize the item.
I don't know how this got in my bag, Perunia.
Huh. I didn't see anyone put anything in your bag. I guess was it? Well, I guess it could have been put in last night when we were at the Bone and Spice, or it could have happened today.
Yeah, perhaps in the chaos outside, but last night. I mean, it's a device that makes me think maybe Nugatsa would know what it is.
Oh, I just had a bad thought.
What?
Oh, what if it's one of those devices that tell you where people are? Oh, we should probably show him sooner rather than later, because if it's that, we need to throw it off the train. But if it's somebody trying to give us a message, obviously we can't throw it off the train, in which case we need to find out what it is I mean, it also immediately.
It almost seems like look at this, look at the window. It's trying to say it's full or empty. It's leaning toward full. So it doesn't seem to be pointing a direction. It's just a reading of how much or how little of something is around it, or
it's just disguising itself to be that, and it's actually something really bad and dangerous.
Yeah, I definitely don't like that I didn't notice I don't know how it got in my bag. I don't like that.
Well, I mean that could happen to anyone, though. I mean, thieves are a thing. There's people skilled in that. There's people that could use invisibility. Don't beat yourself up about that, Shaylin.
I'm gonna cast Detect Magic just to see if there's any magical tracker or anything on it.
Absolutely. Go ahead and describe the casting of the spell.
So I call it. Let me sense it real quick. I am getting some Shadowrun into this game, folks. Yeah. So I kind of like scrunch up my face to look at it, and then like I see this little sort of spark of glowing appear like in my vision from being scrunched up, and when I relax my face, my eyes turn white, and I can see any magic in my area.
Never gonna get used to that, Prunia mutters to herself.
All right, so as you are casting Detect Magic, there does not appear to be any magic coming off of this item. There is magic, of course, coming out of some of the items in your bag.
Right.
The orb, for example, is a little bit magical. The compass is also exuding a bit of magic now. But not this. Not this. This does not seem to be magical.
It's not magic. So anything, if it did have a tracker, it would have to be a scientific one. Yeah, I think we'll get this to Nugatsa. And
also, did you tell him who we are and what we are, and Prunia's like, I can tell you did. You can't lie. You should try practicing it sometime. Like, practice in the mirror. Like, just practice your face. Like, you'll learn how to lie better.
I did.
After you told Panabon not to say anything,
when you guys got up at dinner, he was really. I believe he's on our side.
Okay. Well, I mean, frankly, the fact that you want to ask him about this thing is what gave me the clue. Because if you were still suspecting of him, you wouldn't have said that he could help us.
That makes sense.
But as he's one of the people who probably can help us, I also have no objection to that. So here we are.
I'm sorry, but but look at this. And I take out the orb and I show it to her. So this has the stone in it that was powering the things that Rozosi was using, but this device makes a noise so that we can't be overheard.
Now that's handy.
Right?
Yeah. Wait, did he give you this? Like,
yeah.
Oh, well, he gives good gifts, though.
I snuck out last night.
Yeah. Somehow I get the thought you might not have been the only one.
Did you sneak out?
Well, I mean, I left early this morning to sell the camels and to get this gift for Panabon, and I just it looked as though there had been a couple journeys in addition to my own.
Well, thanks for not being mad.
Hey, what you gonna do? And also, I trust your judgment. I mean, mostly. You did choose to partner with Panabon, but mostly I trust your judgment, and, we see what happens. Either way, it'll be an adventure.
Yeah, I hope this was a good choice and will help us. So he's Palikar too.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. I think he is gonna try to gather some information on how far this problem stretches, if it stops with Flimgesu or continues on.
I wish we had told Tiske that he could be of help, but I guess Tiske was there, so he at least overheard the conversation at dinner, so he at least probably suspects that he would be willing to help.
Well,
okay, Tiske should be able to find more contacts.
Well, and here's my hope. I've been working on this, and I just made a breakthrough last night. I can't get it very far yet. I don't know how far I can get it, but Shaylun turns away, covers her mouth, and whispers, "I learned something new," and you hear it in your head.
What the?
And
what'd you just do?
You can respond back in a whisper. Imagine if we could communicate with Lox and Aegis and Tiske and Nugatsa and all the friends we've met. Nuane? Imagine if we could do that from anywhere.
Wow.
And only, even though you're whispering, or I'm whispering, you can't hear it in person. I mean, it's like this, like, little mental bubble thing that happens, and no one else can hear it.
But I have to whisper back, right? I can't just, like...
To respond, yes.
Yeah, okay. That would be super useful in a fight. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll have to figure out more ways to use that.
In a fight.
Well, I mean, obviously, that's what Prunia's thinking.
Yeah, go left.
I'm in here.
I am going to murder you so hard.
You know, Prunia, if she had that ability, she would definitely do that to her opponents.
Yes, make an intimidation check. All right, so Panabon, as they're in there discussing and talking, what are you up to?
So I'm working on my art stuff that I'm doing, and I don't know how much Lex knows about art stuff, but I am Panabon, so I'm probably, if I'm talking art, I'm talking a few million miles a minute. So I don't know how Lex is feeling about being trapped in a train car with me for an extended period of time. They may be questioning all of their life choices, or they may just be nodding a lot, which I find happens quite a bit with people around me, which is, I feel about that. But I'm working on this really cool, like, fire design mask, and I have a couple other masks I've been working on. But I know there's an artist in another train car, so I'm going to hop out of my train car, and I'm going to go knock on the door of the person who's the musician in cabin 8.
Cabin 8. So Drew hears a knocking on the door, and
I've come to knock on your door.
Ooh, how exciting. So she opens the door. You can kind of hear what sounds like she's maybe tuning her lute inside. And she hears the knock, she stops, and she opens and kind of looks down and says, "Oh, well, hello, darling. How are you?"
Hi, I'm doing well. I just wanted to commend you on your playing in the train station. I very much enjoy art, and I hold up my mask. I don't really, I do more of a visual art, and so, like, I haven't had a lot of time with other artists recently, and I figure be on the train for however long. So, yeah, this is what I do. I make masks. Hello, I'm Panabon. I mean, Rogelio Panabon. I'm Rogelio Panabon.
Always a delight to meet another artist. My name's Drusilla. Please, you're more than welcome. I'm by myself. You can join me.
Sure, I'm with some companions, but yeah, I'd love to take a break from my companions for a little bit, and I'm sure they want a break from me. Artists, they don't really get the art thing, so
that's understandable.
Oh, do you play cards? Are you a card player?
Not usually, but I can try.
Ooh, I could teach you cards. It's very exciting. Um, and I enter the room.
I can. Do you play any instruments? Because I can teach you how to play an instrument in return.
Ooh, instrument. I think people would love that I knew how to play an instrument. Most of what I do is I do what's called mask work, and so like a mask like this, it's not quite dry yet. I have a dry one right here, and I kind of show my character is based on a character when they do busking. Like they have like a mask thing that they do essentially really quick change. So 1 minute I've got a mask on, 1 minute.
Wow, that is delightful.
It's true. Sometimes I tumble when I do it. Like if I have like a tiger mask on, I'll pretend to be a tiger. But like you can't really do it on a train car. 'Cause, like you can't tumble. But like imagine it in like a big town square and like lots of people oohing and awing. It's a lot of fun.
Well, I just want you to know when we get to wherever that we're going, I would like you to show me that.
Oh, I'd love to. Yes, I've had some time on the road. I've taught a couple of kids how to do some tumbling tricks with safety, and yeah, I would love to get a chance to stretch my artistic muscles for you. Yes.
We should put together a show. I can play and you can do your tumbling thing.
Ooh, yes, that would be a lot of fun. If I weren't being chased by evil things, I'm sure I would enjoy that immensely.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it's not great, but it's fine. It's fine. I'm alive. Living. It's good.
Well, yeah, that that's good. I'm
Yeah.
happy. I'm happy that you're alive because I got to meet you, and now I'm gonna learn how to play cards. And I have a new
Yes.
friend.
And you're not going to learn to play illegal cards that will get you thrown out of most casinos. You're going to learn totally legal methods of card playing and card counting for me. And I
That
do like finger guns.
sounds good to me.
Yeah.
And she kind of like gives a wink, thinking maybe you're really going to teach her the kind that's going to get her kicked out, but you don't want to say that. So that's kind of what she is picturing is like you're actually going to teach her these like illegal card tricks.
And anytime you wink, I'm going to wink back at you because that's it.
That works.
How did Panabon develop a nervous twitch? They met Drew.
It's not a nervous twitch. It's like if someone winks at me, why wouldn't I wink back? That's just fun and flirty. It's
Yeah, but if you never stop winking back and forth at each other, it's no longer a wink.
At some point it becomes Morse code, so it's like the whisper thing, but
God.
it's like Morse code.
It's how we communicate now.
To be fair, I'm surprised you haven't tried Thieves' Cant at her yet.
And then we don't get a lot of musician in the thieving guild. Well, in the water reclamation / gardening guild, gardening obfuscation guild. So I'm going to ask, do you go by Druzilla as your full name, or do you like to go by Scylla? Is that the shortened form of Druzilla?
Well, most of my friends call me Drew.
And I'll call you Drew. And you can call me Panabon because I go by my last name. I don't go by my first name, which is Rogelio, which is a family name, and I'm burdened with it.
Well, they're both lovely names.
Oh, thank you, but they're not. Panabon is a much better name than Rogelio.
I will call you Panabon then.
Thank you. Also, you play the lute, which is a good travel instrument. Do you play other instruments? Do you play anything that plugs in? Because I know we've been working on that. I've heard of some gnomes doing some plug-in instruments.
I do play other instruments. I just don't remember what they are off the top of my head. Hold on, let me look real quick. I can play the bagpipes, which I know most people don't like them, but I think that they are just
Wait,
beautiful.
What are bagpipes?
So they have these like horns, and then you like blow into it, and like there's this like airbag. It's complicated, but it's really pretty. It's too big to keep here, but if I can find a set, I will play them for you. And I
Ooh.
promise they are gorgeous.
I mean, I am a gnome. I can make things. So, like, if there's things just lying around that could like facsimilate, I could probably make you like a tiny, like a mini bagpipe.
She like grabs a like piece of paper and like starts like trying to think of ideas of things that you could use for pieces of a bagpipe. I will get you a list and I will see what I can come up with.
Great. Now, you don't mind if these things just kind of come together, right? You're not going to like ask questions about where things come from. Like you're just going to happily receive them, right? Because I feel like when people ask questions, like if you overthink it, then it's just not as fun as just receiving things that may come from places that, you know, yeah, just yeah.
I'm fine with however items are acquired. It's not no business of mine where it comes from.
That's good. That's a great attitude. I wish my companions had that same attitude.
But I also play the flute.
I love the flute. What a fun instrument. I had a friend back in when I lived in Flanopatho when I was passing through for a couple months. I had a friend that would play the flute. And I would do this like bird on a wire act where we'd have like 3 levels of wires, and it was so much fun. Yeah.
That sounds delightful.
Well, except for the one time I fell, but like I did like a cool tumble, so it looked like I wanted to fall. And it was like a baby bird out of a tree moment. That was kind of amazing.
I would have loved to see that.
Let me get a. You know what? I'm not even going to have you make the roll. Just by virtue of being in the train car and knowing Panabon's voice and Panabon being as excitable as they are, both Shayloon and Perunia will hear Panabon's voice coming from what appears to be next door.
Oh God. You're muted.
That's not coming from the room Panabon's in.
And that's not Lex.
Or you only hear, I mean, to everyone's credit, you only hear Panabon. You can't really make out the words either.
Let's go make sure they haven't anything. She opens the door.
And since I hear them coming from what seems to be cabin 8, Prunia knocks.
There's another knock at the door.
Ooh, you have so many visitors today. It's probably someone else that really liked your play.
This is very odd. I'm not used to having so many visitors. And please excuse me one moment. And I open the door. Yes?
Hi, is Rogelio here?
Oh, you mean Panabon? Yeah.
Hello.
Apparently I do. Uh-huh.
Panabon's my last name. Remember, I go by my last name when I'm traveling because Rogelio is a family name.
Yeah, he said it was a family name.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Panabon, slash Rogelio. It's getting close to mealtime. Should we go to get some food?
I cast message again and I go, "What is wrong with you?"
I hear your voice.
Panabon.
To Panabon.
Okay.
You haven't done this with me before, so I hear a voice in my head and I go, Drew, would you love to join us for dinner?
Would be really, that is so sweet. Yes, I would. Thank you.
I'm going to teach Drew card tricks. Drew's a fellow artisan. It's going to have a fabulous time on this train journey.
Drew, is it? Hi. Mm-hmm. I'll go grab Lex.
Drew, do you happen to be able to detach your hands or extend your tongue 15 feet? As I look pointedly at Panabon.
Now, I have to say, I have been asked a lot of strange questions in my line of work, but that is the oddest. No, I can't. And like, hold out my hands. See, they're quite detached. That was not my southern accent.
I would make a really great, like, if you could detach your hands, that would be really great for, like, playing two instruments at once, though, I would think.
Lex! I turned to the other.
So Prunia and Lex, you see, come out, and Prunia is holding her package.
Okay. And so, are you going to the rear dining car, or are you going to find the one close to the front?
I don't remember which one was cheaper, but Prunia would head to the cheaper one.
I'm so pissed right now. I don't even care.
Panabon, are you pulling them in a direction for a dining car?
Not in a particular direction. I'm just having a grand time on the train and making a new friend.
Okay. So with that, you head a few cars up. Actually, it's the dining car for that side is just one over. So, you make your way into the next car to see about getting your first meal on the train. And we will pick up that story next week when we come back. Because we have
then we are off on the 12th. So we are off the week after, but we are here next week.
We will be off on the 12th and the 19th, but we are here next week. We will be playing here. I know that Sarah will be probably on the road, but she will tune in from her laptop.
As long as everything works out technically wise, God, I'm gonna go to bed after this.
Oh, I hope, Drusilla, I hope you like being attacked by things, because we get a lot of that in this group. So I hope you don't mind like being attacked by things generally.
Clearly you don't, because you keep talking to strangers.
No, the last person talked to a stranger was Prunia, and they brought Lex into the group. So
you don't know this, but it was actually Shayloon last night. So there you go.
Shayloon, you weren't the last person to talk to a stranger.
But it was your hero.
Dubious rich
it was your hero that you were going to talk to.
Shh. They can hear us.
I know.
They're all just like going back and forth at each other. It's confusing and bewildering.
I think I'm gonna like this group. Y'all are fun.
And so with that, we shall adjourn for now, but be sure to check us out next week as we return to our game Like Clockwork.
Bye.
Good night, America.